Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're talking about next year. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, 2019, here we come. Let's get to it. So, the end of the year, you talk about and reflect on what's happened over the past year, but it is also time to look ahead. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at the anticipated games for me and for hopefully you in the next year. So first, we're looking at Anthem. Anthem's been jumping on the hype train ever since EA Play over the summer. Now, I did have a chance to play the alpha, and unfortunately, that's all I can say. But from the footage that we've seen so far, it does look interesting. Kind of Iron Man meets spacemen. They're on a planet which is not Earth. They cannot go beyond that one planet. There is a layer in the stratosphere that keeps them from going anywhere outside of that planet. So the origin of the planet is a bit unknown, although there are what they call shaper technology left around from whoever created the world. So it was created by some being or race of beings, and it is pretty much a big mystery of how all this stuff got here and why. So you get to fly around and explore everything. You get to check everything out, and of course, you get to blow a whole bunch of stuff up. There are currently 4 javelins, and you will be able to get all 4 javelins by the time you're about 25% done with the main path of the story or the campaign. Each javelin is better suited for different things, although you can customize it and increase the power and make it a little bit more to your liking and your play style. So there is a lot that is of interest here. You can play by yourself. You can play with up to 3 other players. And there's going to be a lot, it sounds like a lot of content, both story missions that are replayable as well as endgame activities like strongholds that will keep your attention for a long time. And the biggest draw for the game is the loot grind. That's right, this is a looter shooter MMO style where you get random drops, and the more difficult content gives you a more rewarding or potential for more rewarding drop. Moving on, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. There was a good amount of information and very targeted gameplay at E3 for Division 2, and they've slowly given out a little bit more information as the months have gone on. Now, unlike The Division, Division 2 promises to be more tactical. Instead of face tanking everything, you are going to have to use cover, which is the premise of the original game. So instead of having a shield and health, you're going to have armor and health. The health will regenerate automatically, and your armor has to be replaced when it's damaged. And just like reviving a teammate, it takes time to replace the armor. So there isn't that opportunity to face tank, or it'll be very, very limited because your armor is going to get kicked back. You're going to have to take cover, replace that armor, and eventually you're going to run out of armor plates to replace. So yes, it does look a little bit more strategic than the Division. Division, yes, it was strategic, but there was a lot of face tanking involved and a lot of just kind of run and gun gameplay. This looks to be more strategic, and you're going to have more options as a result. So your play style will be included, or seems like it will be included in Division 2, and we'll know more as we get closer to launch and beta. Days Gone, a post-apocalyptic look at the anti-hero that is running around on a chopper. So you run in, and they're not zombies per se, although they are a little zombie-ish. So going around on your motorcycle, getting gas, upgrading your camp, and upgrading your motorcycle and guns. So looking around for parts, looking around for supplies, and not dying as a result. And as you go along, you're helping other people in the process, and you get to see a little bit more backstory as we go. Now, originally it was slated for the end of January, and then it's been pushed back. Hopefully it won't be pushed back again. Currently scheduled to be released at the end of April. This will be an interesting game. So far, I have only heard single player. They haven't mentioned any multiplayer features. Again, as we get a little bit closer to release, we'll find out some more information. Concrete Genie is an indie title for PlayStation only, currently slated for spring of 2019. There is no definitive release date as of yet. Now, the developers have said that even if you are not an artist, you can play and be successful and have very good looking art, even with no skill. They say it's very, very easy to do and to make these murals on the walls and make it look good. So the story is about a boy, and there's kind of this darkness that's crept into town, and you're basically battling the darkness with art and these art monsters that you can create. There's some procedural elements to it that make the monsters different. They sound different. They look different based on how you make them. And of course, they have different abilities depending on what you use. So it looks to be an interesting title, to say the least. And there's a lot of open-ended possibilities with what you can do with the paintbrush. So it looks like it could be a very exciting title and something that is anticipated for this next year. Now, these last two games I'm going to talk about, they are tentatively scheduled for 2019, but they don't have a definitive date. So they probably will be in 2019, but possibly not. Death Stranding is an interesting title with not a lot of information attached. Now, I have to say that just looking at the trailers, just looking at the gameplay that is available currently, Death Stranding kind of makes you look like a delivery guy. You're taking packages from one area to the next, but because of the setting of the story, you have these creatures that are invisible that some people can see and most people can't see, and you have to avoid them at all costs because they put you into some sort of time loop, or something that you wish you had been killed but you aren't, or so it seems. So not a very straightforward game, not a run and gun game, but an interesting title nonetheless. So as it gets closer to release, hopefully we'll have some more information about what is actually going on here and what you're supposed to be doing and what the main thrust of this game is. And finally, Cyberpunk 2077, a very Blade Runner-esque take on a dark future where you have implants, you have these cybernetic implants which enhance people's abilities beyond the normal. Cyberpunk 2077 has had a good amount of gameplay, which was alpha or pre-alpha, and we got to see kind of what to expect from the game. It looks really involved. It looks really good. And again, as we get closer to release, whenever that release date happens to be, it'll be interesting to see the game take shape and what exactly we can expect from the game. Currently, they talked about what you can expect from it. Random encounters, you can free roam in the city, you can get different implants, and you can get different cybernetics, which will enhance your abilities and be able to scan different things and do this, that, and the other, which is really, really cool. And of course, you have this black market aspect where you can get illegal military grade implants, which will bump you up to the next level. So I think it's pretty easy to see that the end game is trying to get those high-end illegal military grade cybernetics and boost up your character to just be at the pinnacle of cyberpunk lore. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to ring the bell before you leave to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. And thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.